Shalom. This, the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10 and verse 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Now, this, the book of Daniel, chapter 4 and verse 17. It says, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand of the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High rule in the kingdom of men, and give it to whomsoever he will, and set up of it the basis of men. So the Most High is ruling over the kingdom of men. The Most High appoints the kings of the earth. You see? And because of unrighteous dealings and riches got by deceit, these kingdoms are translated from one people to another. You see? That's why we had the Assyrians. After the Assyrians, we had the Babylonian Empire. After the Babylonian Empire, we had the Medes and the Persians. After the Medes and the Persians, we had the Greeks, and so on and so forth. See? So the Most High is in the king's heart, is in the heart of the kings that are ruling this world. See? So on this lesson here, we're going to deal about the downfall of the Assyrian Empire. So before I go any further, I'm going to start by giving all praise, all honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashai, Bahasham, Rakaha, Kwadash, Daboana, to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do well. Peace, blessing, and salutation to you, Akiam, who are pushing these truths into the four wings of the earth in sincerity and truth, to make sure that Jerusalem is established here on earth again as a place of worship, as it was in the days of old. Yahweh means the name of the Heavenly Father Almighty, whom the old ignorant call Yahweh or Jehovah. His only name, which is the Hebrew name, is Yahweh. Bahasham means in the name. Yahawashai means the name of the only begotten Son of the Most High Power, whom the old ignorant call Jesus Christ. His only name, which is also a Hebrew name, is Yahawashai. Bahasham again means in the name. Rakaha Kwadash means the name of the Holy Spirit. See? So on this lesson here, we're going to deal about the downfall of the Assyrian Empire. Now this is the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 4. Now I'm going to start with verse 1. It says, Daniel 7 and verse 1, it says, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told some of the matters. Now Belshazzar was the last king of Babylon. You see? Verse 2, it says, Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven stove upon the great sea. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. So Daniel had a vision about the four kingdoms that will come and rule over the world. Verse 4, it says, the first was like a lion and had eagle's wing. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. Now the eagle's wings refers to the Assyrian Empire. And when it talks about the wings thereof were plucked, it talks about the downfall of the Assyrian Empire. You see? Now Prophet Jonah had prophesied about the downfall of the Assyrian Empire. You know, Prophet Jonah prophesies about the downfall of the Assyrian Empire, about the downfall of Nineveh, which was the capital city of the Assyrian Empire. You see? So at the point when there was the downfall of the Assyrian Empire, it was the same time when the Babylonians were coming into the power. See? So the fall of the Assyrian Empire indicated the rise of the Babylonian Empire. So the time when the Assyrians had full control, the Babylonians were under the Assyrians. Now the Babylonians rebelled against the Assyrians. See, the Babylonians were under a king Nabal-Palasar, who had an alliance with Cyaxares, the king of the Medes, and the other states of Greek. So they had an alliance. The Medians and Babylon and the Medes had an alliance to overthrow the Assyrians. and the Assyrians had an alliance with Egypt. You see? So let us go to the book. Now let us go to the book of Jonah, chapter 3. Now chapter 3, starting with verse 1 up to 4. Now this is the book of Jonah, chapter 3, verse 1 up to 4. It says, And the word of the Lord Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai came unto Jonah the second time, saying, Arise and go unto Nineveh, that great city, and preach unto it the preaching that I bid thee. So Jonah arose and went unto Nineveh, according to the word of the Lord Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. Now Nineveh was an exceeding great city of 3 days' journey. And Jonah began to enter into the city a day's journey, and he cried and said, Yet 40 days, and Nineveh shall be overthrown. See? So this was a prophecy that Jonah heard about the downfall of Nineveh. Now let us go to the Apocrypha and read about the downfall of Nineveh. Now the book of Tobit. Now this is the book of Tobit, chapter 14 and verse 3 says, And when he was very aged, he called his son. Now this is Tobit. He called his son and the sons of his son, and said to him, My son, take thy children, for behold, I am aged, and am ready to depart out of this life. Go into Media, my son, for I shall believe the things which Jonas the prophet spake of Nineveh, that it shall be overthrown, and that for a time peace shall rather be in Media. Now Media was under Cyaxares, who had an alliance with Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon. See, and that our brethren shall lie scattered in the earth from that good land, and Jerusalem shall be desolate, and the house of the power of the Most High in it shall be burned, and shall be desolate for a time. And it goes on, it talks about the destruction or the siege of Jerusalem, which was done by King Nebuchadnezzar the second. See? Verse 8. Let's go down to verse 8. It says, And now, my son, depart out of Nineveh, because that those things which the prophet Jonas spake shall surely come to pass. See? Down again to verse 14. It says, And he died at Ecbatana in Media, the sons, this talks about the son of Tobit, being 107 and 20 years old. But before he died, he heard of the destruction of Nineveh, which was taken by Nebuchadnezzar and Ahasuerus, and before his death, he rejoiced over Nineveh. Now, before the total downfall of the Assyrians, of this city, also of these cities of Assyrians, including Nineveh, there was several civil wars which break out, which weakened more the system of the Assyrian Empire. See, so Nebuchadnezzar's father, who is Nabal-Palasar, had an agreement, had an alliance with Cyaxares, the king of the Medes. You see, and they also had some alliances with the Persians and the Scythians, one of the states of Greek, you know, and the Assyrians had an alliance with Egypt, you know. So after the destruction of Nineveh, you see, there were a city also which was destroyed, the second capital city of Assyrians. See, and after that we got the Kashimesh, which was the last, we can say the last stronghold of the Assyrians. See, now let us go and read about the battle of Kashimesh, which talks about the total downfall of the Assyrians. See? Now, the battle of Kashimesh says the battle of Kashimesh was fought around 605 BC between the armies of Egypt allied with the remnants of the army of the former Assyrian Empire against the armies of Babylonia. allied with the Medes, Persians, and Thessians. This was while Nebuchadnezzar was commander-in-chief and Nabopolassar was still king of Babylon. So at this time, Nebuchadnezzar was a crown prince and a commander-in-chief of the armies of the Babylon. You see? And his father Nabopolassar was a king of Babylon. So the Babylons rebelled against the Assyrians because Babylon, during the time of the Assyrians, when the Assyrians was at its peak, Babylon was one among of the regions of the Assyrians. Now Nebuchadnezzar became king after this battle. It says the battle of Carchemish, part of the Egyptian-Babylonian wars. So the date was 605 BC, location at the city of Carchemish. Said the result, Babylonian and Median victory, end of Egyptian intervention in the Near East. See, so when the Babylon after this war, the Egypt lost this war. The Egypt and the Assyrians lost this war, which lead to the Babylonians had a full or total control of the areas which before were under the Egyptians. See? Now it says, let's look at the background. It says, when the Assyrian capital Nineveh was overrun by the Medes, Thessians, Babylonians, and their allies in 612 BC, the Assyrians moved their capital to Haran. Now, Prophet Jonah had already prophesied about the downfall of the Assyria, of the capital city of the Assyrians, which was Nineveh. You see? The Assyrians moved their capital to Haran after the destruction of Nineveh. When Haran was captured by the alliance in 609 BC, ending the Assyrian Empire, remnant of the Assyrian army joined Carchemish, a city under Egyptian rule, on the Euphrates. Egypt, a former vassal of Assyrians, was allied with the Assyrian king Ashur-ubal II and marched in 609 BC to his aid against the Babylonians. Now, the Egyptian army of Pharaoh Necho II was delayed at Megiddo by the forces of King Josiah of Judah. Josiah was killed and his army was defeated at the Battle of Megiddo. Now, after this battle, we can say that at this time during the Battle of Carchemish, you see, King Josiah was all killed and his son Jehoahaz took the throne. And after Jehoahaz, we had Jehoiakim. So when the king of Egypt was returning from the lost battle of Carchemish, he took captive Jehoahaz, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, captive. And Jehoiakim became the king of Judah. You see? And it was during the time of Jehoiakim, there was the captive of Jerusalem, which was held by Nebuchadnezzar II, king of Babylon, because Nebuchadnezzar became the king of Babylon right after the end of this battle of Carchemish. It says the Egyptian army of Pharaoh Necho II was delayed at Megiddo by the forces of King Josiah of Judah. Josiah was killed and his army was defeated at the Battle of Megiddo. It says the Egyptians and the Assyrians together crossed the Euphrates and laid siege on Haran, which they failed to retake. Then they retreated to northern western Assyria in what is now northern eastern Syria. You see? The Egyptian met full might of the Babylonian and Median army led by Nebuchadnezzar II at the Carchemish, where the combined Egyptian and Assyrian forces were destroyed. Assyria ceased to exist as independent power, and Egypt retreated and was no longer a significant force in the ancient Near East. Babylonian reached its economic peak after the 605 BC. See? And also because at that time the Babylonians also had a total control over the river Euphrates, had a large control over a river Euphrates. You see? So after the end of this war, this battle of Carchemish, Nebuchadnezzar II became the king of Babylon. See? So Nebuchadnezzar had this an alliance. Nabopolassar, the father of Nebuchadnezzar, had this alliance with Cyaxares, the king of the Medes, who is the father of Darius the Mede. You see? See? So let's go and read again this book of Daniel, chapter 4 and verse 17. It says, "This matter is by the decree of watchers and the demand of the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High rule in the kingdom of men, and give it to whomsoever he will, and set up of it the bases of men." So the Most High is ruling in these kingdoms of men, because he is the power that established these kingdoms that existed throughout the ages. See? So because of unrighteous dealings and riches got by deceit, these kingdoms are translated from one nation of people to another. You see? And that's the precept which explains that the Most High is in the king's heart. Let me get to this. Now this is the book of Proverbs 21 and 1. It says, "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai, as the rivers of water. He turns it whithersoever he will." See? So the Lord rise up mighty men, see, and destroy them. And rise up mighty men and destroy them. See? See, the Lord rise up the Assyrians and destroy them, through the Babylonians. The Lord lies the Medes and the Persians, and he destroyed them through Alexander the Greek. You see? So all these kingdoms that had passed in this world were in the hands of the Lord. You see? Were in the hands of the Lord. See? So that was the lesson about the downfall of the Assyrian Empire. Now let me read it again. Daniel 7:4. It says, "The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wing. I beheld, till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made a stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it." See? So the first, which was like a lion and had eagle's wing, it refers to the Assyrian Babylonian Empire, because the eagle's wings represent the Assyrian Empire. See? And when it talks about the wings thereof were plucked, it talks about the destruction of the Assyrian Empire. See? And it goes on, it says, "It was lifted up from the earth, and made a stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it." It talks about the rise of the Babylonian Empire under King Nebuchadnezzar. See? So I hope this lesson was edified to you all brothers out there. So I'm going to end up by giving all praise, all honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kwadash, Shalom.